Coming up in the morning edition, a letter of intent signed for Grand Lucayan, an early morning fire in Centerville, and let's go back to historic Grey Clip. How you start your morning will determine your day. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Let's plan our day weather-wise with a report from Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good morning, Basil. How are things looking out there?
Good morning, LaDawn. Our tower cam overlooking the eastern portion of New Providence showing basically they're clear skies. There's a few puffy clouds that are floating around, and as we go to our satellite picture, that foul boundary which brought some weather to the extreme northwest Bahamas, well, that's now all the way down in the southeast Bahamas around Crooked Island and Acklands. Behind that, high pressure will continue to build, and that will render near clear skies for the remainder of the northwest and central Bahamas over the next few days. Outside of our studios, we have partly cloudy skies. Temperature at 72 degrees, relative humidity 64%, northerly winds at 13 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,015.3 millibars, that's 29.98 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning: Marsh Harbor at 69, 68 in Greenville Key, Freeport 68 degrees, in the Berry Islands 71, Isle Sound Bimini 71, 70 in Harbor Island, Rock Sound in Lutra 71, out of Sound Cat Island 72 degrees, 68 in Stanley Key, Kemp Space or Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. In San Salvador and Rum Key 72 degrees, Georgetown and Exuma at 74, 73 in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Megwana, Acklands, Matchitown in Agua 75, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 77 degrees. Your boating forecast for today: in the northwest and central islands, northwest to north winds 15 to 20 knots. We're going to have turbulent sea conditions of about 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. Low tide 8:04 this morning, high tide 1:56 this afternoon. And for the southeast Bahamas, not too bad. Winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your first look at weather at 6. Stay tuned. More weather is still to come.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Meanwhile, Jiminita Swain is standing by with a traffic drone to help you with your daily commute.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Hello, mi pariga. Good morning, LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. We're coming to you live from West Bay Street. Now, you're taking in a live drone shot from our drone that's focused in the direction of West Bay. Traffic has been a steady flow heading into the eastern direction. Now, it's been a busy morning. We want to talk a little bit with you about the proposed amendments to the road traffic bill that parliamentarians have been discussing. Those amendments were passed in the House last night, and parliamentarians are hoping that they disrupt the increase in traffic fatalities and also those persons that continue to speed on the streets. Now, joining me live to talk about those amendments is, of course, Corporal Decory Barr of the Police Traffic Division. Good morning, Corporal Barr.
Good morning, Jiminita. Good morning, Bahamas.
Now, some of the things that we heard coming out of the discussions yesterday, like so far for the year, there's been about 1,800 traffic fatalities, traffic accidents, that is, and 18 traffic fatalities. Do you think that these amendments will make your work easier? I know speed is often a challenge for traffic officials.
Yes, the proposed amendments would assist us greatly in reducing what we've already been happening for the year, as well as assisting us greatly in doing our job in terms of some persons who tend to drive without their valid driver's license on their person. That's something that we find would assist us greatly in any aspect of policing.
Now, I know another one of the elements that is going to come out of the amendments is, of course, driving with electronic devices. That's a no. And even driving with open alcoholic beverages in your vehicle as well. Obviously, we don't want motorists to be distracted whilst they're driving, so I would think that would be helpful to your work as well.
That would be helpful in terms of, again, reducing what we've seen happening already for the year. And most modern vehicles have that hands-free system on the vehicle, so we shouldn't see persons doing it, but yet it's something that we run across every day.
Now, any accidents overnight that we need to update motorists on as they make their daily commute?
We're glad to report this morning that we had a quiet night. And for the morning so far, we're having a fairly quiet morning and nothing to report at this time.
All right, well, thank you so much, Corporal Dabori Bar. Obviously, it's been a consistent flow of traffic out here on West Bay Street. But again, motorists, we often advise you just to drive safe and take enough time you need to get to your destination. Back to you in Studio Ladon.
Thanks a lot, Jimanita. Good news from the government regarding Grand Bahama and the Lucayan Resort. We have done what we said we would do in the face of much criticism. Those were the sentiments of Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Dionisio de Aguilar, during an official press conference in the office of the Prime Minister over in Grand Bahama at the signing of a letter of intent for the purchase of the Grand Lucayan Resort. The LOI was signed between Lucayan Renewal Holdings and ITM Royal Caribbean joint venture. The deal is expected to transform the Grand Lucayan Resort and surrounding areas, as well as develop the Freeport Harbor into a destination product using water-based adventure theme parks. Both ITM and Royal Caribbean have worked on successful projects in the past. On hand for the signing of the LOI and the major announcement were Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar, Minister of State for Grand Bahama Senator Kwesi Thompson, Chairman of Lucayan Renewal Holdings Limited Michael Scott, President of the Senate Catherine Forbes Smith, Vice President of Government Relations and Americas for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines Russell Benford, and Chief Executive Officer of ITM Mauricio Hamu. Firefighters responded to a fire during the wee hours of the morning. ZNS News was on the scene where Ron Aubrey spoke with an official to get the details.
Firefighters called to the scene here on Rosetta Street. In fact, they thought it was Von Culman Associates, but in fact that fire was behind Von Culman and Associates. There were two fire trucks assigned, Fire Delta 18 and Fire Delta 19. There was no flames, in fact there was only smoke, and we're walking right now to the back of Von Culman Associates here on Rosetta Street where that fire is, and the fire took place right here at a dwelling home behind Von Culman and Associates. With me, Sergeant 277 Devanda Davis. Ms. Davis, can you tell us what did you respond to?
At about 5:03 a.m., we got a call of a structural fire. This would be Rosetta and Mont Royal. Upon arrival, fire personnel met a four-room, single-story wooden structure with heavy smoke emanating from it. Upon further checks, it was discovered that no one was at home at the present time, but the building is occupied, but no one was home.
I noticed your firefighters had to break the windows open.
Yes, we break the windows open for ventilation purposes, but so far it's under control at this present time. We will continue conducting investigations.
Now, when you talk about a fire like this, heavy smoke, what does that tell you?
That something serious inside is burning. Could be a mattress, can be a rug, or anything of that nature.
Okay, so I said that your firefighters also wear heavy equipment in terms of masks.
Yes, when they are entering the building, they are properly attired with their protective breathing apparatus as well as their SCBA mask so that they can breathe fresh air as they extinguish the fire.
Advice to homeowners.
Be careful, install your smoke detector alarms inside your home so that you can have sufficient time to exit the home in the event if your house is caught on fire.
Thank you very much. Sergeant 277 Devanda Davis and her fire team, two fire trucks here on Rosetta Street behind Von Culman Associates. That house behind me, that house is totally destroyed. When we got here, there were no flames, but heavy smoke. There will be more investigations as today continues. I am Vaughn Aubrey, ZNS Network News.
Good story there, Ron. Education Minister, the Honorable Jeffrey Lloyd, expressing condolences to the staff and students of the T.A. Thompson Junior High School and the family of 15-year-old student Perry Louis. The teen was walking home in the Pitt Road area when he was accosted by two male students from the nearby C.C. Sweeting Senior High School and fatally stabbed. The Education Minister indicated during House of Assembly proceedings on Wednesday that gang violence continues to be an ongoing challenge in that area.
I was further advised by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Honorable Speaker, that for some time they have been dealing with challenges of gang violence within the community that houses the students of T.G. Glover, T.A. Thompson, and C.C. Sweeting. And that the students of these three schools live in the Baintown or the Angliston School area.
Raising awareness at a Child Protection Month press conference on Wednesday, Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Frankie Campbell, gave a speech on issues of child abuse in the Bahamas at their headquarters on John F. Kennedy Drive. This year's theme for the month of April is Every Child Safe, Every Community Aware, No Abuse for Child Abuse. Minister Campbell also noted that there are a number of ways in which children can suffer from abuse, including neglect, physical, financial, verbal, sexual abandonment, emotional, and psychological abuses.
Child protection is everybody's business, even though the child is not yours biologically, because I'm satisfied that the children you see walking the streets to and from school, playing in your neighborhoods, are children that you will see again as young adults and as grown-ups, and the context and circumstances in which you see them again could depend on the interaction you have with them now.
April is Parkinson's Awareness Month. Chairperson for the Kingdor National Parkinson's Foundation, Mavis Darling-Hill, says this year is exciting as the annual ball will bring about to life with Visage is set to perform. Starting the organization 19 years ago, Hill says it all began after learning that her father, the late Reverend K.S. Darling, suffered from the disease.
During that period, it was so difficult dealing with the illness because we knew nothing about it. We knew nobody who had Parkinson's disease. We didn't know how to manage it. It was such that any time we saw a change in my father's appearance or how he responded, we were jumping on the plane.
Says while her family has moved on, she and her family created the foundation to use their experience to help others.
Every one of us, before we die, we're going to suffer some kind of condition, illness, and as we live longer, there are illnesses that we have not even heard about yet, and so just take care of yourself.
And still to come, we've got more conversations with Grey Cliff proprietor Enrico Garzaroli. That and more when the Morning Edition continues.
Fidelity has the tools you need to make getting out of debt simple. Our debt consolidation loans will help you reduce your monthly payments with a built-in savings plan that earns 5% interest. Fidelity even gives you a financial coach to help you stay on track. Even our credit cards earn reward points that can be used for free travel, hotel stays, Rubis Gas, John Bull, car rentals, and shopping. No need to fall victim to sweet talk. Tell those other banks to simply walk the talk. Call Fidelity today and get the help you really need with a real debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
The machinery of the government is always working to make the country better for present and future generations. But what does that machinery look like, and how does it really work? Find the answers to these questions and more as you hear directly from this administration's policymakers. Tune in to A Closer Look with Anthony Newbold, Mondays at 8 p.m. and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
In 1740, when the pirate captain John Howard Graysmith built the mansion known today as Greycliff, he never dreamed in 2019 it would turn out to be an award-winning 5-star, world-renowned hotel and restaurant owned by the Gazzaroli family. I'm Tanya Smith Cartwright. Join me this week on the Morning Edition and the Bahamas Tonight for conversations with Enrico Gazzaroli, when we will discuss everything about this 300-year-old property.
Welcome back to the Morning Edition. The Southern Division of the Royal Bahamas Police Force is on one of the busiest police stations here in New Providence. In fact, located at Market and Quaco Streets, Superintendent Christopher Wright, officer in charge, calls it the Times Square of the capital. Youth violence, he acknowledges, is a challenge, and daily his officers walk the beat to keep the peace. He admits, though, that gangs are a part of the problem.
There's a lot of gangs, and it is in our schools, and it's starting now at the primary, the junior school level. Just yesterday, we had an unfortunate situation at one of our junior schools in this area where a young teenage boy lost his life. And I can tell you, it's not for trying, because we've been engaging ourselves in school summits and going into these schools and speaking to these kids, letting them know about conflict resolutions and what is the better way of life. The school that that young man went to, who was killed yesterday, we actually has been in there twice already. As recent as this year, in February of this year, we went in there and we spoke to the entire school. So we've been trying, and we will continue to try.
And because of gangs, for some young men, certain streets and areas are no-go zones, so police are proactive in keeping them out of harm's way.
Some guys live on a certain street, and this in close proximity. They can't go to the other street because that's a different gang in that area. So they're saying to them, listen, this is my turf, you don't come here. And speaking about gangs, I think parents need to get more involved in their kids' life and check that Facebook. You will be amazed to know when we check their Facebook what gangs they're in and what signs they're displaying on this Facebook page. So parents, I sound the alarm to you to check those kids' Facebook account.
Well, after 12 weeks of vigorous training within fashion design and garment creation, 5 Bahamian women are now skilled seamstresses. A graduation ceremony taking place Wednesday at the Cancer Society of the Bahamas. The initiative was organized by Romelda Rose Design. Instructor and owner of Romelda Rose Fashion House is Gillian Curry-Williams.
It's community because anyone can come from anywhere and participate. It's impact for women, although we did have a male that started the class, but it's for women, and it's a matter of giving back from what I know to empower other women to be able to do the same thing that I'm doing.
When one thinks of Graycliff, one thing of fine dining and luxurious living. Tanya Smith Cartwright continues her conversation with Graycliff proprietor Enrico Garzaroli.
As the conversation with Enrico Garzaroli started to wind down, it was time to do one of my most favorite things, eat. More delectable delights were brought in the front of me by the chef. I felt like such a queen, not only because of the feast in the front of me, but because I was sitting in one of the most regal historic properties in the world, Graycliff. What do we have here?
This is a coffee roast beef. Okay. With passion fruit mayonnaise and coconut and banana chips and patty pan.
Oh, interesting.
Enjoy.
Now let me taste this. I'm getting to taste everything today.
You see that?
Delicious. So what's this on top of the roast beef?
This
is the chips?
Yeah, banana chips, banana and coconut chips.
Okay, good stuff. Really good.
See the sauce there?
So I put it in the sauce. Is the sauce where the passion fruit is?
That one.
Okay, this one?
No, the other one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, that was really good. But those who know me know I was not stopping there. I waited, and as expected, another delicious meal was placed in the front of me. The chef explained the meal.
This is a rouget, is a Mediterranean fish that we share and we mix with pumpkin puree, guacamole, and roasted corn and purple carrots.
Rouget.
Okay, I'm going to taste this rouget.
That's basically is a deboned fish.
Deboned.
Deboned fish. Huh?
Do I put it in this sauce?
Yeah. You can do whatever you want. The Bahamas is the country of freedom. You do what you want, when you want, and how you want.
And how you want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting. Awesome. Delicious. At the end of the fourth conversation with Enrico Gazzaroli at Grey Cliff, I'm Tanya Smith Cartwright for ZNS Network News. Ching ching.
Pleasure. Ching ching.
It seems Tanya's having a great time over there.
I think I get ready to go in a fight in the boxing.
She's having a great time eating over there.
Yeah, she had a good time.
What's coming up?
What's coming up in sports? The National High School Basketball Championship that tips off today in Grand Bahama. And last night over at the AFL gym, they had a big championship matchup there as well.
That and more ahead in sports.
Ching ching.
You got to make the best of what you have in front of you. And that's some of our problems. We don't know how to make the best of what we've got. You keep on looking out the window and seeing something better. And you think if you get that, that's what's going to make your, oh Lord, this is what's going to make your life better. But I need to tell you, you need to make the best of who you are.
Join us this and every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. for Faith Touch on ZNS TV 13.
Hey, have you heard? ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Whether you're on the move or just kicking back. Miss something on the news? It's there. Want to keep up with a live update? It's there. Or just want to listen to your favorite station? It's there too. Download the app now from the App Store and Google Play Store.
Good morning once again. The 4th Annual National High School Basketball Tournament tips off today in Grand Bahama. Let's take a look at the schedule for the boys. 3 o'clock, Anatole Rogers against Patrick J. Bethel. Government High will then take on 8 Mile Rockside. Gibson goes up against Temple Christian. The 6 o'clock game, CC and Agape. St. John's taking on Gateway. Doris against Jack Haywood. 9 o'clock, Tabernacle against Jordan Prince Will. And the feature game tonight, Sunland will take on Telliers. The New Providence Basketball Association Championships tipping off last night in the Division II matchup. Two-time defending champs. Breezes High Flyers running with the Your Essential Star Giants. Giants stomping to an early 26-22 lead after one and jumped out to a 50-39 lead at the half. Now they pushed into the third quarter where they were outscored 28-23. This one back and forth in the final frame, but it was just a little bit too late for the defending champs as game one goes 98-85 to the Giants with Brandon Strawn, Michael Bethel 21 and Adrian Thompson with 19.
I think we need to work more on our defense, but I think like the points, the dunks turn up our intensity and we came out with the win.
I don't know what really went wrong tonight, but we just couldn't execute. We turned over the ball with no defense on us too easily, too much turnovers.
That's a nice team, but I think they ready for us. I don't think they could beat us.
We stand up watching the ball come off the rim instead of putting the body on somebody. And if you give a team like Giants 2-3 chances, they will burn you, and that's what happens. That's the difference in the game.
To the Division I contest where the defending champs Commonwealth Bank Giants allowed the PJs Slingers to score the first 4 buckets of the ball game. It was close after 1-12-10 Giants on top. A 6-zip run in the second allowed the Giants to lead 36-24 at the break. From there it was all Giants in the second half as they toyed and had their way with the Slingers. It led as many as 30 after 3, 66-36 and cruised to an 87-63 game 1 win with Jackson Jacob dropping in 28, Deshaun Taylor 15 and Jeffrey Henfield with 12.
It's a good game. You know, this can come up and be scrappy, be physical. We just weather the storm, execute, and we'll be ready for game 2. We got to execute and keep our win streak. You know, we undefeated for the whole season, so that's what we drive on. Try to stay undefeated.
We just play bad basketball. We didn't play good, so there's no excuse. We lost the game. They come out with more firepower than us, so they beat us.
Travis Munnings and Louisiana Monroe face Texas Southern in the semifinals of the College Basketball Insider.com tournament tonight. That tips off at 8 o'clock. And come April 5th at Government House, former Bahamas Softball Federation presidents Burkett Dawson and Godfrey Gully Burnside will be inducted into the World Baseball Softball Congress Hall of Fame. They will also have the Bahamas Softball Federation Hall of Fame inducted. 21 persons will be enshrined into that organization, and they include Lucina Ingram from Abaco, Percival Thomas, Aubrey from Abaco as well, Billy Evans, Nicole Evans as well, Sherry Beneby, Edmund Binks Bethel, Donald DeGregory, Elizabeth Johnson, Bernie Chips McPhee Major, Charles Fuzzy Moss, Dorothy Dot Marshall, Stephen Bishop Beneby, Anthony Hot Dog Perez, Brazilla Kelly, Derek Ducky J. Christie, Daphne McKinney, Henry Dean, Senator Jennifer Isaac Dodson, and Telford Roberts.
Hall of Famers, the management team from that side will be in Nassau, and so we like them to see that we do the same thing locally in the Bahamas. Which is really good too, because it's the beginning of the softball season, so it sort of give people the boost, the morale, in order to go play softball.
And that's going to put a wrap on Sports Thursday. Thanks for watching.
For the latest news and highlights in Bahamian culture, tune in to the new Junkanoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network, Radio Bahamas 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, host Arlene Nash Ferguson and Darren Bastian engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkanoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkanoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
Welcome to the best of sports world.
In our final look at whether that area of low pressure has moved north and east of Abaco and Grand Bahama. Meanwhile, that frontal boundary is across the southeast Bahamas. Could be firing up some showers around Crooked Island and Acklands during the course of this morning as it slowly sinks towards the south and east. High pressure will continue to build behind that, and that means some breezy conditions for a couple of days. Today we're looking at mostly sunny and breezy. High temperature will struggle to get up to about 79 degrees. And tonight we're looking at patchy cloud with a stray shower in the mix. Those breezy conditions will continue tonight, keeping things nice and cool for you. Low temperature 67 degrees, and your extended weather forecast, we're going to keep you in the 60s right through the 7-day cycle. Things will start to warm up a bit on Saturday as we head into the weekend and the early part of next week with lots of sunshine. LaDawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil. That's going to do it for us. Make sure to tune in to the morning edition tomorrow. Enjoy your day, everyone.